podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest Anfield Index Under Pressure podcast. My name's Dan Kennett, and with me to go through the 1-1 draw at the Etihad. He's back for another week. We didn't scare him away. It's our newest member from the courtesy of the Times newspaper, Hamzah Kaliklunat. Evening, Hamzah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm back again. I'm beaten.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah. I definitely did enjoy it, and we are unbeaten. I'll give you a little stat as well. I've been going to Anfield for many years, and I had this excellent record. I'd only seen us lose once.
No worries.
And that was against Arsenal, I think in 2003 or 2004. Henry played really well in that match. And then for years afterwards, I just escaped with wins and draws. Excellent record. And that finally sort of fell apart when in the Champions League final. But then it took another hit when I was covering Liverpool against Spurs. So I've sort of asked to stay off Liverpool matches now because my magic's gone. But hopefully I'll have a similar sort of record here on the pod.
Ooh, now yes, I like that. Let's build your record. That's what we're saying here. Okay, nice. Anyway, and we do have the Dynamic Sports Science duo. First of all, it's I don't know if you're in your ivory tower today, Phil. I think you might be down on ground level today. But this is good. We like this perspective. It's Dr. Phil Barter.
Darth, it's too cold up there. I've had to come down where the heating is, all right? So,
and finally, it's he's had more clubs than Tiger Woods. It's Mr. Simon Brundish.
Evening, boys. It's nice to have a good, not just a good game to talk about. Isn't it nice? Apart from which, it's nice to have Hamzah on again, but to have a real proper game with real proper teams.
Yes, and this was a proper game of football. That's for sure. But we are going to start off as always with those lineups, with those all-important lineups. Si, after the international break, the travel, the South Americans, everything.
Yeah. So we did. Is this our strongest team? Where's the dispute? Maybe CJ's even coming into the discussion now amongst most. I would say it's the majority of online fans that I see have turned this season into believers that CJ's part of our strongest midfield. So him starting is kind of a positive. You know he's going to keep the ball and not do anything stupid.
Well,
we got Robbo.
We'll
what can you do? Is the big call in this game? I suppose there are two. The starrier version of the forward line would have Diaz in, I presume. So playing Jota instead of Diaz, rolling out Darwin instead of Gakpo because this time last season, in all likelihood, the boss goes with Gakpo, doesn't he?
Just because we couldn't.
Shape, I think this is a very positive representation. Yeah, I was going to come to Konate. I think this is a positive reflection of the boss's belief in Darwin and how Darwin has evolved into fitting much better into the team system. So he's not a big hole for them just to play straight through. So it's quite a big deal for Darwin to be able to be trusted to start. I think trust plays a big role against City away.
Yeah, I think unquestionably. Yeah, unquestionably.
Ibu. He went with Matip, I think, which would have surprised a lot of people, but we don't actually know the physical state of Ibu anyway, do we?
No. There was rumours that he wasn't actually injured. It was more like the old Ryan Giggs style injury. Was that true, Si? What did you hear?
That was my feeling, but Ibu's always injured. So if there's a rumor of injury, trust it.
Yeah, he's only in his career. He's only played more than half the matches in a season once. That's pretty crazy, really.
Indeed, Ibu averages 1,838 minutes a season, which is 20 games.
Yeah, not enough. And you during the international break, you said there shouldn't be any issues with the selection because the games were all earlier on. Did you see any fallouts from the international break in for us or for City?
No, well, not for City. So there's quite a significant change in the two teams, I thought. Of influence on the two teams from impact on the two teams from the international break, in that they did the Ryan Giggs injuries right at the end of the last game, so they all played every minute, and then suddenly all of their best players were injured, so they couldn't go to international break. And we had a significant toll of travel and minutes played and all that stuff considerably. So their starting 11 had played 889 minutes of international football in 2 weeks. And our starting 11 had played 1,300 minutes, so 4 and a bit games more. But our starting 11 had travelled 3.5 times the distance that theirs had.
Yeah. And the crazy stat about the 884 minutes of international football from City is that 820 of them were from Manuel Akanji.
Yeah.
He actually played 3 matches.
Only Akanji and Guardiola played their game, so Guardiola was the only one that didn't play.
He actually played three matches in the international break. Nuts. Anyway.
Is that really? Is that right?
Yeah, they had to roll one back. They had to plan one in for the Israel game.
Wow, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, so he played 3. Anyway, that's enough nonsense. But what did you think about City's, as our resident opposition scout? What did you think about the City selection? Is it predictable for you?
It's the same as the previous week, apart from Si just said they played Aki in at left back in left sided of the 3. However you want to talk about the lineup. That was the only change. The rest of it,
Grealish,
no Grealish. Apparently he's injured. Stones, he was on the bench, but Ruben not to be fit. Yeah, Grealish was sick. Yeah, so they were moaning about a light bench when you've got £50 million defender, 110 million pounds worth of defenders, and the £50 million midfielder and 2 goalkeepers. So yeah, that's probably a slight. And they named one less sub than you're allowed to. So read into that what you want. But
so if this was a Liverpool manager, the Liverpool Twitter would be saying he's making a point to the owners, sending a message to the owners.
Can I just call him a punk?
Yeah, he also honestly didn't make any subs either, just to say.
But I like that is a punk move, right? Of
course it is. Yeah, I agree.
What that does, it shows you how he feels about the academy and the disrespect he has for the academy, because that's a punk ass move for you not playing a 7. Worst case, you got a 17-year-old you could shove on the end of your bench to
exactly.
Never bring it on. He behaved like a twat.
Yeah, and his academy side, correct me if I'm wrong, side won the Premier League 2 back-to-back titles.
Yeah, they're phenomenal because they buy everybody. They buy because everybody,
it proves your point, right?
For City have got magnificent houses and went to private school. Exactly. But that's even set that aside, right? There is an opportunity to bridge the gap from your resis to your first team for your development of your kids. You give them that opportunity.
Yeah. It's one of the things.
What are you doing otherwise? What are you doing? You're telling me there's not a single child in your academy. Yeah. Forget quality. It's got nothing to do with quality. It's just got to do with respect to the players that you've got.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Klopp wouldn't do it. Klopp has time and time again taken youth players on the bench, hasn't he? We've seen that this season. He took who was the lad who made his debut last home game? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, the Brentford bench was pretty. Yeah,
anyway. But a kid came off the bench and made his debut against Brentford. Yeah, right. That's proving Si's point. Klopp wouldn't do that. That's it. Oh God. So it was a dick. I thought it was a real dick move, and the fact it didn't actually use any of the subs anyway. But yeah, so Aki comes in at left back. So
cool. Well, the whole Calvin Phillips thing is just bizarre, isn't it?
Stupid. Yeah, but hey.
So he's just wasted his career, hasn't he? Basically.
Yeah, but he's probably got a boatload of money for it. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Just before we come on to start going through the match details, going to come on to the match summary. This was like a bit of a throwback to some games where we've had a lot down, maybe not for a few years now, but, not that many shots really. 16 shots to 8 is not that many for a top level match. 5 shots on target to 3. XG on understart was 1.8 for City and 0.77 for us. And the expected threat was 1.95 for City, 0.97 for us. Possession was 60-40 for City, and 2 big chances to 1. We missed our only one, which is a little bit debatable about whether it was even a big chance. And City scored 1 and missed 1, and both for Haaland. But yeah, it was a bit of a low volume in terms of the match, but it's not something we haven't seen before. Anyway, coming on to the match itself, it was a bit of a quiet, generally quiet first 20, and not too much happened, especially in the boxes. How did you see the opening exchanges?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it didn't take long to sort of notice that City were manipulating our press, though. One way they did that was using Akanji. He was sort of the key to it. So he would move into midfield, as they usually have with the 3 at the back structure, and then the double pivot with him and Rodri. But what they would do is, because we didn't engage in a sort of full high press immediately, it was sort of mid-blocky. What they do, they'd play all in and immediately out. And usually Akanji receiving was a trigger, I think, for Szoboszlai to go. So Szoboszlai would go, they'd push, and we would move from a mid-block shape where we were sort of compact from top to bottom to then pushing up. And suddenly that compactness from a vertical sense, that is from goal to goal, fell away. So we were spread out more, which allowed more spaces for City to play through. And you ended up with situations where you'd have 4 players pressing and 2 Liverpool players in midfield. So you had a 4-2-4 structure. And that's where sort of players like Alvarez were really able to drop in, him and Bernardo Silva in particular. They'd start wide and then sort of tuck in. And suddenly then you've got a 2-on-2 in midfield. And if Rodri moves forward, then which he didn't actually do too much, then you have a 3-on-2. But essentially we left that space open. And remember, if Haaland drops in and you've already got 2-on-2 in midfield, then it becomes a 3-on-2. And if the deepest player in that midfield, either Akanji or Rodri's there, then you have a 4, not in a box, but like a kite to play around midfield. And you could see in moments, I think the pressing wasn't quite coordinated well. Nunez, there were moments where he would try and cover Rodri or Akanji, but they found it quite easy to run in behind him. So he would look, think he's pressing the right angle, and they would just slip in either leftwards or rightwards as he presses forward, and it would be a simple pass forward from Ederson, into them, and then either Rodri or Akanji would have time to turn, and then that meant our press wasn't quite as effective as we would have hoped it would have been. They didn't manage to turn those into like heap loads of transitions, but there are moments where you went sort of not quite heart in mouth, but you're worried that could develop into something a bit more troublesome. But yeah, you could see the signs there that City had the better of the opening exchanges early on. Yeah.
Barts, I mean, obviously you've ran all your normal analyses and you've uploaded your stats pack to the Under Pressure Discord group. That first 25 minutes, what did you take from that in terms of the patterns of play and your analysis?
Just to add to Hamzah there as well, they kept Walker and Ake really wide, which meant they stretched out. They used both the wide channels.
They built up with they were like a 3-2-5, weren't they? And
which makes it harder, like to coordinate where you are, because there's just their shape is depth and width.
Yeah.
Interestingly, if you look at the average position of the pass maps, it's Doku's the highest position, if you like, and the widest. It's not. Well, I'm sure that's not that interesting. It's probably not a shock either. But Haaland, I was surprised at how deep he came, particularly second half. He dropped in, but for us. Just concentrating on our kind of shape. It's a bit of it's a strange shape from us in terms of on ball. If you want to look at that,
it was a 2 and a 3, clear 2 and a 3, right?
Yeah. But our left side, left side issues we said,
not WM, more MM. if you know what I mean. Yeah.
But the left side was so like Jones and Jota are on top of each other.
Yeah.
And Costa's trying to give us that width, but not getting very far. So he's stuck on the halfway line. So you've kind of got a lot of players in the same line. Yeah. Mo's given us the width, but what I've also noticed was the way they were stopping our ball into the 6, which meant we often had to go again and recycle or play wide and down the line. Yeah. And then the out ball would then not necessarily be on the ground. It would be in the air. So we're forcing our wide player to have a duel to win that ball. And if it went to Mo, they would double team him.
Yeah.
Now, Mo is normally quite good at that. But when you're playing City level players double teaming you, there's a chance that he's only going to win 1 in 5, half 50-50. So that was and he's also receiving that just over the halfway line if you look at every position. Which is not.
And
not
to be honest, to be fair to Aki, he's had a lot of good games against Salah down the years. Yeah, he's one of those players who give Salah quite a difficult match usually.
Yeah, and especially when he's backed up with Silva dropping in or another player. I can't remember the guy playing next to Robbie, but anyway, him coming over. You've got 2 high quality players shutting down our main attacking entity. And then because Jota's starting position is so deep, he can't come up and offer the other side.
12 touches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then the same could be said for CJ did well on the off ball, but on the ball. And then when Diaz comes on for a similar length of time to Jota, again, he only had 15 touches, I think it was. So it meant that Núñez was largely isolated. And if you look at the connections to him, they're just low. They're really low volume. I've added a new thing this year, this game week, with the pass maps to give you accuracy of the passing success. So the depth of the line colour to the player gives you the pass success rate. White is the lowest success rate, and that is the line to Núñez. So it shows you that although we did make some connections, we also missed a lot because he was there isolated, so it was easy for them to pick him off for that ball into him. So it was I thought City. I mean, this is City. Right? We chatted pre-pod that they are exceptional at setting things up at times, and I did think there was time where they've clearly gone right. Okay, we're going to force you to receive the ball here, which means we can double team here. We can control it a bit more. It's less of a variable. They didn't let us have our usual. They didn't really let us pass through the middle of the pitch. They just kind of shuffled across and stopped that zone off, and they forced us to go wide, which changed the way we normally attack. To interesting things. But when we did get it right, when we could find the players in the middle, we managed to go through the thirds and end up on the edge of their box. But it just wasn't with any. I didn't think we had that much control on it. And if you look at, I've also done something new this week, working with Hamzah during the week with the XT heat map.
Nice.
Our main XT touches are in defensive and middle third. So we only have something like 10%, I think it is, in the final third of XT build-up, whereas City have nearly 20% on theirs. They have about 5% or 3% in our actual box. We have nothing in their box. So it just gives you a little pattern. I know we're away from home, and as a caveat, we're playing City, but it just gives you that they managed to keep us out of their final third for long periods, so we couldn't get in positions to create XT, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does make sense. It makes sense. And Si, your thoughts? One of the obviously preeminent tactical features of the match was the phenomenon of Jeremy Doku. I think he's taken the Tony Daly role and to new levels here with this. It was for a while. It was Wilfried Zaha was the dribbling phenomenon of the Premier League, but this is he does it 50% more than he ever did.
Yeah, but we also gambled in that we didn't bother to mark him.
How did that work out for you?
Well, two things. Okay, right. So you go, okay, we don't have a player that can physically live with him. So if we go man to man, once he received possession, he's going to beat his man anyway. So why mark him? The way we're going to beat him, nullify him, is to prevent him getting the ball. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure that was a tactic. Is that what would you go along with that, Hamzah?
Hey, this is Chuck the Goat from Goat USA. I wanted to break into your podcast and tell you about the new Goat USA store, coming to Garden State Plaza on November 1st. If you love high-quality lifestyle apparel, then get in on the hottest athletic lifestyle brand. Come buy an iconic t-shirt and heavenly soft-hooded sweatshirt and start feeling like the greatest of all time. So come on out to Garden State Plaza in November and get your Goat USA swag. Goat USA, apparel for kids and adults. Chuck out.
Are you that person who has everything? The coolest merch and those must-have fan threads? Well, over at our Anfield Index shop, we've gone that extra mile when it comes to pimping up your Liverpool collection. From our popular range of bespoke design t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies and hats, to our signature edition mugs, prints and coasters, all provided with fast worldwide shipping. We have something for every red. We also stock official LFC merchandise and are licensed with the Premier League and UEFA to sell official iron-on shirt badges and sleeve patches. As a listener to this podcast, you can get 10% off everything with coupon code AIPRO10. Just head over to AnfieldIndex.shop or find us on Etsy by searching for Anfield Index.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I'd agree with that.
So, he received possession 11 times into the final third from unmarked, from unpressured passes. We chose to not press, and we were allowing their players possession in not only their defensive third, but also in the midfield, in the middle third. We would back off and allow Rodri just to play 6 passes into Doku, who was totally unmarked by this stage, and Ruben Diaz as well. The highest XG chain of the highest expected threat, all from Doku, because he is the hot hand right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And if you were going to set up against Liverpool for the last 3 years, you play your fastest player out wide, gamble, leave him there because Trent's going to bugger off. And now he doesn't even start there in the first place, pretty much. So whereas traditionally over the last 3 years he would bugger off up front because that's how we set up, and somebody else would be tasked with marking the left winger. No one's tasked with marking the left winger. It was a bit weird. So anybody who follows me on Twitter will have seen that I only watched the first half of the game, and I've retrospectively seen that.
It's just the yeah. But this reminded me of the Newcastle against Man City game at the start of last season, where Kyle Walker was inverting for City, and they had Alan Saint-Maximin on the left wing. He absolutely ran riot that match as well. A bit like Doku did in this game, except he created even more than Doku did in this game. Doku was like 0.9 XA, which is a lot for key passes. But that match, I think, Hamzah, do you recall that match? With I think it was a draw. Was it like a 3-3 draw? I think.
I'm struggling to remember the specific. Was that towards the start of the season? Yeah,
it was in September, the start of last season. But yeah, my point was going to be that Saint-Maximin ran riot because Walker was inverting. In the end, they City changed the system to try and deal with Saint-Maximin, but we didn't make any real adjustments at all to do. It's like Si said, okay, well, we know he plays over there and he just like dribbles and he'll beat anybody, but we didn't really that. Did you see any noticeable change throughout the match in how we set up in what we were trying to do with our plan A?
I think at full time, Trent Alexander-Arnold spoke to Sky Sports and he mentioned that in the second half, they wanted to press a bit more aggressively. I think, and that relates to the point about giving City time on the ball. I also think that one thing that Bernardo Silva did quite well was man mark Trent when he moved infield. And in the second half, it appeared to me at least, I was just watching back half an hour ago, that Trent also attempted, to also man mark Silva in possession loosely. So sometimes he'd follow him quite closely, and sometimes then he'd pass him off to Szoboszlai or whichever midfielder was nearby. And just by managing Silva a bit better, and just again when the game just restarts after half time, it's those patterns that existed in the first half are just hard for the team that had those patterns to build them again. So we benefited from that break. But the intensity of the press would be the main thing, because the speed at which the way Szoboszlai pressed and Gravenberch pressed, it felt to me at least in the second half that we closed those spaces better and we presented fewer opportunities for easy passes that compared to the first half.
Yeah.
And I thought that there was like 10 minutes at the beginning of the first half where we, as you said, marked Bernardo Silva. So we adjusted tactically to cope with the thing that they'd done in the first half. I don't understand why it took till half time to do it. It didn't make any sense. But and we stopped them with their really easy, simple pass out. But they fixed that. We adjusted by playing basically 4-1-4-1 at possession, and we backed off our front line. I think there might have been it's a real shame we don't have pressing for this game, because I think there might have been 3 minutes combined in the whole game where we pressed high. We gegenpressed. When we lost possession, we went for 5 seconds, and you can count the 5 seconds. Go back and watch it, and then we just stopped and back straight off. So you can see there are moments in the second half where even Mac is sprinting 30 meters to go and press Ederson, and then they end up playing out and through that hole, because if you lose possession, you go get it back as quick as possible. But once that 5 seconds is gone, I actually think it's 3. But in this game, the intensity lasted for 5, and then we would just back off into the 4-1-4-1 again. But after the first 15 minutes, that Bernardo had found a different slot. And so he was enabling the play into Akanji, back out, rebound into Bernardo. He would get the angle for the second pass, and he was there to receive possession quite a lot, and they could play out through that. They were going wide quite well as well, because we play a really narrow midfield.
Yeah. But just come back to the Doku point, Si. Sorry to push you on this one. Is it that the fact that we didn't really adjust, because we almost like, well, there's not even any point trying to mark him because he's still going to be whoever we put on him, right? So we just simply we didn't really change our plan to handle him, did we, in any way?
No, not at all. We did nothing to do that. There was a moment at the beginning of the second half where it looked like Matip was going a bit wider in the Ibu kind of role, but I actually think that was just a function of how the build-up went, and he ended up being that way for a defensive moment. But
and if somebody out there is getting 17 take-ons in a match, completing 12, 71%, just phenomenal.
And he did. The things that he created were substantially higher than the numbers that he was afforded.
Yeah.
So there were 3 moments in the second half alone where he made a really good pass into he was inside the box, made a really good pullback that probably should have been a really big chance.
The Alvarez one, which we know Alvarez shinned it over the bar, and then there was obviously the one.
But there were a couple that were missed.
Yeah.
I don't mean the shot missed. They just ended up not being shot.
Yeah.
Just because of a bad run here, or
So
he pulled back for Haaland, and Haaland wasn't there, which surprised everybody.
Yeah. So I don't know whether we were either ignorant or whether we were just brave and ignored it.
It was a gamble.
Yeah, gambled. Yeah.
Risk reward. Reward.
Certainly brave, that's for sure. Okay, so let's talk about some of those moments. Bart, start off with going for the. We talked about the patterns now. The first moment of the match, obviously, an Alisson Becker error of all the things.
Yeah, Yeah, but we were on the break before that though. Didn't we have a chance? Isn't there the one the Don plays the ball through to Nunes?
No, not yet. No,
is that not it?
Before? No.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you mean the Foden chance? You mean the Foden?
The Foden one?
Okay,
the first Ali era. Sorry.
Yeah, but then that for me that comes back to the point. For me, they shut off the middle area, so like them forcing Ali to go wider. And for some reason, Ali's normally can handle that kick, but he didn't. Yeah. He had the option of trying to basically chip it out to the wide left as it was, because these other options were shut down. So he mishits it. Foden picks it up, and we managed to put some pressure on Foden, and he puts a shot and he puts it around the corner. But it wasn't. It was probably some of the first signs that Ali wasn't quite at it. But then City were causing him to do more things that he wasn't.
So I looked at
Ali plays into
insane.
That's what I mean. So they were forcing Ali to try and make that really difficult ball out wide.
But City was already marked. So
that's what I mean. He was trying to chip him over. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. There was no easy
other than hoof it.
Just hoof it.
Yeah. And I think he was trying to find Jota. I don't know on the wide.
I think it was Simi. I looked it up, by the way, Barts. I looked up Alisson's errors.
Yeah, go on.
Right, so he's made 19 in the Premier League for us since he signed. Mm-hmm. Do we know how many of those have been against Man City?
10.
No, God, no. 4. 4. It is 4. Yeah, 4. But it's still the most.
3 against Arsenal, 2 against Leicester. Is my guess.
I think it's 2 against Arsenal, 2 against Tottenham, 2 against Leicester. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But 4 against City. Yeah.
How did he make at the home game? Was it during COVID where we got?
Yeah, he did that one, and there was an away game, a couple of other away games as well. So yeah, it's just a shame, really, isn't it? Because it's not the first time his distribution specifically has looked wobbly against Man City.
Then, as I said, though, as I just said, they were pressing intensely, so the ball out that Ali would normally make wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right. So you were asking him every single time to try and make a really difficult pass out.
Yeah.
And he's just come off a flight. He's got all of that stuff. I just think give the guy a break. You know what I mean? This is the one game in the season where he's put under so much pressure, and you miss it a ball. He got away with one in the first 15.
Yeah. And it was right at the end. It was another pass back and clearance, which did cause his injury, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because he's trying. Again, they're pressing him. He's forcing it. I think he's trying to hit it with the outside of the foot that time. Again, a very difficult pass, and he pulls it. Does his hamstring.
Yeah,
because again, you're putting that pressure on him for the whole game.
We have had a question in
about how many kicks.
Yeah. So does this freakish number of kicks? Because did he receive over 50 passes or made over 50 passes? Is that anything to do with contributing to a hammy injury? Or is that just people putting 2 and 2 together and making 5?
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the level of stress involved in the game. I think the level of stress in his system from traveling 15,000 miles, playing 2 incredibly intense, emotional, psychosocial, emotionally games for 2 last week. That all is absolutely a contributing factor. Mac was talking about how exhausted he was because he couldn't sleep because of the jet lag. All absolutely genuine factors in fatigue-related semitendinosus injuries.
Yeah. And do we know anything at all about the injury? Let's just get out of the way now.
I saw the mechanism. It wasn't cramp.
So do you think it's not? We haven't had any news about it at all, have we?
So the most common hamstring injury isn't caused by sprinting. It's like the distal end of the hamstring. Semitendinosus is the biggest hamstring. Is the one that is the break to a kicking action. So as the leg extends, as the knee straightens. And I think you couldn't really get a better video example than Ali kicking the ball like that because your knee straightens a little bit earlier when you're trying to kick it from the outside of the foot, so it goes much more from your hip rather than from the quadricep contraction, straightening the knee, and it usually tears as as the hamstring tries to slow down the swing leg. So as it goes past 90, as it starts to raise off the floor, the hamstring is pulling it to slow it down, and under fatigue, that's towards the end, towards the knee. That's where it tends to tear. That's the most common hamstring injury in football. And
so it's the top of his hamstring, yeah.
No, it's the bit near his knee.
Oh, the bit near his knee. Okay.
The bit he was holding that area.
Okay. So, seeing as you boys, between you, pretty much got the Robertson prognosis spot on, I think it was you, Barts, who said 10 weeks. What's your gut feel based on what you've seen about the Ali injury?
Sorry, how many injuries he had now? Is his third?
Hamstring injury, yeah. He's had...
Same leg?
Same leg, yeah. It'd be the same leg. I'd be really shocked if it isn't. Yeah,
let me actually look, because I'll have this. I didn't look preemptively. Carry on chatting.
So if it's the same, if it's not a... Do you know what I mean? If he's had the same injury, I'd be really shocked. We don't know anything. I don't know any inside. I'd be really shocked if it's not at least a grade 2.
So you're thinking after Christmas?
I'm thinking. So that's weeks or months, isn't it? Grade 2. You're talking after Christmas for me.
Yeah.
So
great. Yeah.
Which is Newcastle. Newcastle in New Year?
Yeah.
So the longest period he has missed was Hammy at the beginning of 1920. So this isn't a recurrent thing.
No.
And he missed 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, same leg side?
To open the season, if you remember.
Yeah, that was against Norwich. You got it against Norwich, didn't you?
Norwich. Yeah. Yeah. And he missed 6 games, I think it was, because it was start of the season.
Yeah, he missed 8 weeks.
Yeah. Whereas now
he came back in week 11.
Yeah. Whereas now, if he's not back till January, he's going to miss a lot of games.
Yeah, so we don't know.
We don't know.
No, but all I'm saying is, if anybody,
I will be surprised.
If anybody has got a track record of getting things reasonably right within, it's you two guys. So I think your word counts for a lot, and I don't think we'll find anything out as fans until the last press conference, will we?
No. The mechanism of what causes a hamstring injury, that was very, very typical of how you would.
It was textbook. So it was textbook.
Yeah, it's a textbook example, and that would generally put you out probably 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. Let's say looking at the mechanism textbook.
Right. On to more cheery stuff. Hamzah. So we had the first good chance of the match, thanks to something we haven't seen a lot of this season. The Joel Matip carry, committing men. It's such a weapon.
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. The carry. It's something actually City have been doing a lot more this season to manipulate their opponents. You guys have been through it countless times. If a team is set up in their out of possession shape, the best way to break that is to have a person run with the ball, because that means an opponent sees them running with the ball towards goal and goes, I need to close you down. As soon as that happens and space opens up elsewhere, there's is this the utterly bonkers moment where Trent goes with him as well? Because as I was going through the footage, what was the minute of the carry?
16 minutes, I think.
16. I'm just
no. It's our first shot. 14 minutes.
14 minutes. I'm just pulling it up because there is a slightly crazy moment where both Trent and Matip move forward at the same time, and if the ball is turned over there, Liverpool are in really big trouble. But yeah, having that, I think he goes past 3 players between three. He drives through three or 4 City players. Mm-hmm.
He plays it out to Salah at the corner of the penalty box, who does a lovely quite a soft clip cross, doesn't he? And then Darwin has to generate his own power, doesn't he, on the header?
Yeah,
and it's a decent save from Alisson. But it was just the point. I think the important point here is that nobody else in the team really gives us that. It's still, that's a very Joel Matip trait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, you're asking your midfielders to do it. It'll be Szoboszlai or Gravenberch. Usually offer that sort of stuff, but yeah, that verticality is the key there, and it's a good way to create. I did a piece on this weekend. If you can't create a full transition, what you can do is create sort of mini sort of transitions, a little sort of moment of chaos, and that's essentially what City try to do with Doku. They play super slow, and then get the ball to Doku in a moment, and then suddenly he's off in a flash, and his player that was tracking
Sadio Mane, isn't it, from his standing start? He's got that instant acceleration, like Mane.
Exactly that. Yeah. So you create a sort of mini moment of chaos, and the idea is that, especially for City, that they can control that. That's a sort of. They want to avoid transitions as much as possible because there's an opportunity. If you're creating a mini transition and you lose a ball, suddenly then you're in negative transition, right? So they want to manipulate these as much as possible by not having loads and loads and loads of dribbles, but choosing when to dribble at the right time, working really slowly until an opportunity to dribble opens up. Matip is. I think we've discussed this plenty before. Well, you guys have. That Matip is an excellent trait of his. I mean, Gomez's trait is the forward penetrative pass. Van Dijk's is the switch. Konate also likes to dribble forward a bit as well. But Matip he picks up speed very quickly, and it's quite surprising for opponents when he does it because of those rangy strides. Suddenly he's 4 steps in, and suddenly he's covering like 20 meters.
So we had just on the numbers of FB Ref, Matip had 149 meters of progressive carries. Van Dijk was next best for us with 89, and Joel was second in the match, obviously only behind Jeremy Doku, who had 343 meters of progressive carries, which is pretty astonishing. But stay with us, Hamzah, because just after this was the moment that had the internet talking, which was the opportunity for Darwin Núñez from on the break. Not the break, sort of semi-transition moment. How did you see that opportunity at 0-0?
Was this the one where he was offside?
This is the one where Szoboszlai plays him in, and he doesn't. There is not a great pass, so he doesn't have a great touch, and the danger's gone, and then
got it right now on my screen. 16th minute. Yeah, so. Curtis Cash at infield and Szoboszlai takes it off him. This is. I think Ian Wright.
It's a moment. It's a moment, isn't it?
Gave the sort of correct analysis here. So Szoboszlai feeds Núñez in, and it is a moment because it sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. So it's not like a massive chance, but the correct thing to do, the correct thing to do here is let the ball come across onto the left foot. And by using the instep of your left foot, you can then set yourself up for a shot. But what he does is he controls with the outside of his right. So just his balance is back on his right foot. So you lose that forward momentum by taking that touch. And that little sort of shimmy back inside allows Walker to then just get behind his back and then get in front as he's taking his second touch to control it again. And then, then the chance is gone. Letting that ball come across onto the left foot and either striking it with the left foot or using the instep of your left foot to set up a shot just would have been the one there. I'm just trying to study how that move developed, but my VLC player has packed it in.
From a goal kick, innit? A goal kick.
How did you? Any Site and Barts? Did you want to comment on this one, or just?
Yeah, this is the beginning of the two moments in the game that just evidence how dumb he is. There are 3 potential outcomes here. Right. So let's preface this by the superpower that boy has is electric speed to get him behind.
Yeah.
Why? Against the fastest footballer in maybe the world, once you get past him, I know I'll slow down.
Yeah.
How is that a reasonable tactic? That's just such a silly idea. Know your opposition. You should at Premier League level. They will have a pack of who they're playing against. They'll have little videos of who they're playing against, so they should know specific character traits of their direct.
Do you think this
opposition.
is the first time he's been on the pitch with Kyle Walker, though?
I've never been on the pitch with Kyle Walker. I know he's fast.
True, yeah.
I doubt it's the first time because this is the 3rd or 4th game he's played against City. Yeah. So. But it's not like you don't have to go, oh, is this guy fast or not? It's the 15th minute for a start. He's seen how fast he is, even if it's the first time he's ever played with him. But the point being, the 3 outcomes is let the ball ride and run onto it afterwards, and you've got a left foot chance. You cut the ball, you put your foot on it, cut inside and think you divvy. Or you play a first-time pass, which turns into a sweaty for Mo to tap in at the far post. Any of those things, the choice is the wrong one. It happens. They're footballers, but it was only compounded by the really stupid thing he did literally a minute later, where he ran offside. He must have been 3 or 4 meters offside. He was very. He
stays offside.
He stays offside. The ball gets played off a defender. It was going out for our throw-in, and he went and stopped it.
Yeah.
And we were just building momentum then. It was the dumbest thing.
Yeah, and they cleared their lines from the offside, didn't they? So, yeah.
If I may just come back in, I wanted to just get the clip back up of that Matip carry, because I thought it was when Trent moves up, and it is. So they both run up in synchrony. So what happens is Matip receives the ball from McAllister and then takes the ball forward between Haaland and Doku. And Trent also moves forward at the same time. As in, if Liverpool lose the ball here, if Haaland gets a tackle in, you're just left with McAllister and Van Dijk as the final two, because Matip's already running forward. That's why I thought it was a bit bonkers when I watched it back. And I was just checking it was the right moment. But just watching it now back again, it's if anyone wants to check, it's the 15th.
So no, really, Trent should no, Joel, you go on, you gamble, right? You go on your run, and I'll cover you, but no.
Yeah, as in rest defence, the idea that when you're in possession, you are set up for to lose possession, and how you deal with that, ideally by just packing out the middle. That's why City use that 2-3 or the 3-2. Sorry, so you've got two players at the heart of midfield, making sure that there's the structure there, and the 3 at the back means that if there are balls played into the channel, as in the half spaces, the centre backs can go out and cover. But this here, essentially, Matip is just inside their half. McAllister is also just inside their half, and Matip makes that movement forwards. But as he makes that movement forward, I understand that there is a space right in the middle of the pitch, literally a 10-meter radius, and that's where Trent wants to run into. But at that particular moment, he should realise that it's just McAllister and Van Dijk behind. That bit of it needs to be
Hamzah, you being the most apart from no one's heard your view on this, you are very balanced right now. You're
he's a journalist for the Times, say.
And you have to you have irons in the fire that you can't really speak in the way that I do. So. What is your view on Trent's role? Given that the context of, in this game, for the first time, something happened last week. I presume it was for England. I don't follow these things well enough. That Gary Neville said exclusively positive things about Trent for the whole game. It was weird. I remember a free kick, maybe Chelsea. Trent scored. Unbelievable. The world was erupting, and Gary Neville said something along the lines of, "That's what he can do. Why it's worth putting up with how he defends." But in this game, it didn't matter. Trent could have picked the ball up and thrown it in, and Gary Neville wouldn't have mentioned it. He only wanted to focus on the positive. So something changed in narrative-wise.
Oh, so you want to know the memo that's been circulated around Fleet Street, basically, about Trent?
I think it's Gary Neville. I don't know why. I presume it's something to do with England, but I'm not quite sure. Did you hear the change in the tone?
Hello, I'm here to annoy you. I'm here to annoy you into listening to more of me and more of others on EPL Index. We don't just have the Anfield Index stuff. We've got EPL Index as well, which covers the entirety of the Premier League. And we have 3 podcasts and a whole bunch of really good writing on EPLindex.com. The podcasts are my own Two-Footed podcast, which is every day at 4 p.m, Monday through Friday, covering the whole league. We have A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. You know Tadiwa, he does Anfield Index. he presents Etihad Predictable before every Premier League match week. And then Kevin De Vries and his crew on the EPL Roundtable, they're every week after the Premier League match week. So make sure you listen to everything we're doing on EPL Index and follow us there on Twitter at EPL Index. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'll be completely honest. I met Gareth Southgate in Georgia, and I actually spoke to him about Trent playing in midfield. And this was back in
last year,
July this year. So he'd already sort of floated that idea, and I was really interested. But I thought it was from the England perspective. I'll just briefly segue into England. I think when you're constructing midfield, to come back to the Paisley quote, right? Buzzer, cruncher, spreader. You've got your Bellingham, you've got Rice, and you just need someone that spreads the ball around. And if you look at the sort of long pass rates of those midfielders, not just those two, but the rest of the squad, no one else really passes long from Henderson. And if you've got players like Saka and Kane, just making sure, if you're talking about knockout football, the idea is that your best players get the ball as much as possible. And if someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold's in the team to pass to Kane, you just have a better chance of winning. So I think that is that was the point that I've been trying to make for a little while, because I think it's an interesting sort of a proposition to have Alexander-Arnold in midfield for England. It's something that a few colleagues of mine support and a few others don't. The most notable one that supports it is Henry. He's written about it a few times, and he actually doesn't reckon Gareth will do it. And he said that quite a few times too. There hasn't been any sort of memo, but from to be honest, I always thought I was in the sort of I was on my own with this. I thought it was I thought it'd be worth getting a Trent into the England team. But I don't sense a sort of narrative shift. And to be completely honest as well, I actually didn't. I had the volume off for the whole of the match that I watched, and when I rewatched it as well, I also had the volume off. So I didn't hear Neville talk at all.
So I need to interject here. There's two things we need to draw close on. One is any talk of England, right? More talk of England. And two is any more talk of Gary Neville. He is the worst pundit on TV. So we are not going to be talking about either of those two things again on this podcast. So let's come on to the goal, Phil. What did you think? So there was a bit of a build-up just before that with Jones and Ali get into a horrible mess, right?
And then we break actually from that really well.
Yeah.
But with I think Dom doesn't hit a shot. Dom this time doesn't pass, takes it on himself, has a shot.
Yeah,
they break again,
and then he comes back with a Foden shot, which kind of deflects into Ali's hands. Yeah, and then he tries to do the Ali over the top early ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, which to be fair to Ali, that is the ball. Like
didn't he do it against City last season at Anfield?
What for the goal? Yeah, straight down the middle, and he span. I can't remember who he's playing against.
Cancelo.
There you go. Span Cancelo, went and scored and we won 1-0, and he's done it against United numerous times. So it's not a non-rehearsed ball. It was just a wider channel, and he didn't execute it. But
so what happens
they
next?
Still picked up halfway line.
So 40, it falls 40 yards out. How do you think we dealt with that?
Poorly. Ake picks it up, dribbles with it, goes past. Dom is around him, but Dom doesn't seem to put a challenge in of any effect. Trent's there as well. And then
to say Trent is like a lamppost, I think would be kind to lampposts, really.
I think they're both at fault though. I think they're both. Yeah, I mean, Dom was in more contact higher up.
I was shocked that Szoboszlai didn't.
Yeah, one of them should have dealt with that ball. We talk about the source, don't we? Like I said about stopping the ball at source, getting to Doku here. You've got a problem. They're 45 yards from goal. Deal with it there. Don't let him come into the final third. We let him come into the final third. At this point, there's maybe a non-communication between Matip and Haaland, or Matip's drawn over to the.
Well, it's a 4-on-4, isn't it? At that point, because he's gone past the men. Yeah, and then
the ball's rolled into Haaland. Some people are saying this is exactly what Núñez should have done on the 16th minute. Lets the ball come across him and then hits it. And he shins it, scuffs it. It's not a great shot, but because he hit it early, got it off. Ali's taken not a surprise, but it's a bobble, isn't it? And he
doesn't get enough. Ali nearly saves it, but not
nearly
quite.
saves it, not quite. But I think because he's hit it that early, he knows he's not. If he goes any closer, again, going back to Si's point about a pack, they will all know how good Ali is on a 1v1. They will all know that. So he doesn't want to get anywhere near that. So the ball's coming across him, lets it come across, and he knows, right, I've got to hit this early because otherwise Ali's going to be right in my face. Hits it early. That's what he thinks is his best chance of scoring, and he goes in. But for me, yes, Ali should have cleared it better. Fine, we can all accept that he's missed it there. But we had 2 opportunities, 40 yards from goal to deal with that, and we didn't deal with it. Yeah. Just take the foul. If you have to, just take the foul. How many times have we said that as well? We just don't. Bluting away was another example. Just take the foul.
Yeah.
Stop it at source. We haven't got to worry about it then.
But can I pose one thing? We had 6 players behind the ball at that point.
After Aki had gone past Trent?
After he'd gone past Dom.
I thought you were talking about Zobbo still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because he takes 2 of them out. He takes 2 of them out, and then that's why I think it becomes a 4-on-4, you see. So it's quite a simple through ball to play, really. And you can't blame any of the back 4 for that. Yeah.
Once it goes past that point of us dealing with it high up, we're in trouble. 4-on-4.
Yeah.
For me.
And then the only other note in the first half, really, chance of note, is the Foden cuts in from the right and puts in a really good lot. That's going in the bottom corner. But this time Ali does get it and does make a really good save and turn it around the post, Phil.
Yeah, that's Ali being what he does best, right? We had a couple of little breaks, though. We did, coming back to some of our decision making, Dom takes passes, shoots passes, all in the same area, all in the left half space, receives the ball 4 times in that half. Yeah, one of them he tries to play Darwin in, as we said. One of them he takes a shot on. Another one he tries to play Darwin in again. Another one he takes a shot on. So he made 4 different decisions. Potentially all of them could have been slightly better, but he picks it. We found a way of getting one of our key players in a left half space running towards their goal, and we didn't maximise that at all.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned, actually, our biggest, and for some reason, our biggest chance of the match is the one...
That one from Don Ball slides him in.
Yeah, which he plays it and he's wide of the left post. And
I don't know why that's a big chance. I mean, it must be because there's nothing between him and the goal.
6-yard box? I don't know, it's the only thing I can think of.
6-yard box, it's him 1v1 with a keeper, but the angle...
Yes, it's tight, yeah.
It's tight. I mean, maybe Mo scores that, but yeah, it's tight.
The only way you score that is a sort of Rabona finish, just because of the angle. In all seriousness, just
no, yeah. Or you play it across the box, percentages. Yeah. You fizz it across.
And that Foden chance you mentioned that came from Alisson playing through us, right? That was the key there.
Ball, yeah.
Again, it was an in-out ball as an into midfield, then deep towards Alisson, and then Liverpool follow them forward, open up space vertically. I think Szoboszlai comes out, and then Ederson plays direct into Bernardo. And I think at this point,
6 players he takes out with that pass.
Yeah, because of the in-out pass in the first place, Szoboszlai moves forward, and Szoboszlai's as he's on the right, he swaps sort of responsibilities for Silva with Salah. So then Salah's now in the situation where he's tasked with Silva, and he's literally just sort of realises a split second too late, ball goes into Silva, and then it's played forward quickly. But that essentially was that right there was the nub of the tactical problem, I think, in the first half.
Yeah. And so I want to bring in a bit of a talking point here for the second half, because there was something very, very rare happened and very unusual happened in this match. Two very unusual things happened in this match. The first of all is that Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't create a key pass, didn't have a key pass, and he didn't have a single. He had 0 expected assists, and Mo Salah. Trent's had 192 starts. I looked this up on Understat earlier on. He's had 192 Premier League starts, and he's only had 0 key passes in 28 of them, which is pretty phenomenal, right? So he always creates something, right? Even rarer, Mo Salah has his first Premier League start for Liverpool with 0 shots and 0 XG after 218 Premier League starts. So we've gone away to Man City, who won all 24 games this calendar year at the Etihad. We got a draw, without Mo having a shot and without Trent creating a chance. So the discussion point here is that good? Is it bad that or is it just something different? Barts.
Are we happy with the premise that we've adapted a system to make it a number 9?
Yeah.
Right. So therefore, our number 9 had 5 shots?
4 shots. Right. So 4 shots on that opportunity. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So our number 9 had the most shots in the game, and that is something that we've adapted our system to do. So do I think that Mo should have had shots? Yes. But the premise of this team seemingly has been tweaked to create chances for our number 9.
Yeah.
Did our number 9 score them? No.
No.
But he did have 4 shots centrally, 2 of them in the box.
Yeah.
So is our best passer of the ball, was he involved? No, but he ended up with a goal. I'm not sure that answers it. I'm not sure that answers your question, but I think I do think we're not.
It's just a discussion point. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't think this side is. No, I think that's mad that we've got away to City and our best attacking player hasn't had a shot. I think that's crazy. But on the premise of how this team seemingly is being evolved to, which is to get our number 9 chances, it did what it said on the tin.
Yeah,
he just didn't score.
So when Mo Salah leaves in January on a pre-agreed deal to 250 million, it's not going because we're already adjusted to playing with a 9. Yeah.
Well, you're still going to have problems though because of no one's got to score the goals. But
yeah. Okay.
And Mo actually set up the equaliser in this game, and that's a ridiculous thing on the assist, but he still got the assist for.
I do want to be clear as well, right? And that Darwin Núñez has scored with 17.9% of his shots for club and country this season, right?
Yep.
In the Premier League, it's 7.2% of his shots.
Yep.
So there's something. It's not like he can't score. It's just he can't score in the competition we most want him to score in.
Yeah, and he's learning. We've all said he's progressed. Yeah. You've made some valid points about his age. I've seen, I think it was Torres' time. He was different stages of his career, and that's maybe an unfair comparison. But yeah, it seemingly we've set the system up for him to play in.
He should be peak. He should be in his peak.
At 24, right? I would have thought he would have been peak. Yeah, and again, an unfair comparison, but the guy at the other end had a similar chance scored. Haaland on all the pass maps and everything else had literally nothing, hardly any involvement in the game.
Yeah,
but he scored that goal.
So, and I'm going to come to Hamzah last on this one because for good reason, right? But Brundish, right? You couldn't believe Mo Salah didn't have a shot, right? First time ever for Liverpool in a league game.
Just crazy. He's two goals from 200. Two goals from 200. He is top 5 all-time goal scorer for us. The top 3 best players in the Premier League ever. He is converting big chances 3 times the rate that Darwin is.
Yeah.
Just what? What are you doing?
So is it a good thing then we go away and get a draw at City without him having a shot, without Trent creating a chance?
I think it's a wonderful thing that we went away and we didn't lose. I think the outcome surpassed the performance. I don't think our performance justified not winning, justified the result. I'm really happy it did.
Yeah, because City were a 1 XG when you take all the models into account. They had 1 XG difference, so which should be enough to win any game, really. Yeah.
But also on top of that, they also created they created significant instability to us. Doku ran us ragged. If he'd have ended up with 4 assists in this game, you wouldn't have blinked.
Yeah. And we had 0.77 XG. It's not bad going away to Man City. It's not a bad number at all. We did it without.
We weren't terrible. City are great.
Yes.
But the things we tactically set up to do in this game weren't successful other than the outcome.
Okay. So, yeah. So if we repeat it, going by that extension, if this process was repeated, right, of 0 shots for Salah and 0 key passes for Trent, you think the outcomes would be very different over a larger sample?
Yeah, for sure. To be fair, what City did was to nullify Trent. They knew where he was going. As Hamzah pointed out, he just evidenced what we've been talking about for weeks, that Trent's first thought is, let me get into midfield. Yeah. Let me go forward. He is. I'm sure at this point he has totally given up playing right back. He is doing this begrudgingly, absolutely begrudgingly. Just play him in midfield. I'll be excited to see him in midfield. I don't even blame the kid. But that is the state of this, and City knew this, and they just marked the pass into him. They just blocked the pass into him, so he didn't. So he had 69 touches in this game when he's been having double that basically. But even as a percentage of our play, he still wasn't the highest number of touches, and like Ali only had 9 fewer than Trent, and Ali had the most passes received. Him and Virgil were just passing to each other the whole time, which is exactly where City would have liked, because at some point they're gonna press it, and we weren't. So no passes. So no Trent to Mo near the box is the worst outcome for us, or is the worst process for us.
Yeah. So Hamzah. So one of the things I've said on the show a few times this season is that one of the problems in military terms is that generals always fight the last war, right? Now, in analytical terms, what we do, we've been there through the good times, 97 points, 99 points, champions of everything, talking about analysing the 4-3-3. This season, and back in last season, we're trying to analyse something very different, right? We've also changing the system to play with a 9, who is a very raw guy with excellent raw attributes, right? Which we're trying to hone to get the best out of him, right? So is the problem here that us three are all biased? Are we the problem? So this is where we need your fresh perspective on things to help us. What do you think?
I would say that the Salah shot thing is very striking, but also there was a Darwin chance where he was offside and he laid the ball back, and then Salah did get a shot off, but the shot didn't count because he was offside.
Oh, right, okay, yeah,
and he was outside the box.
Right. Okay. So it was like a 2% chance or something.
It did go in, but it was offside, and Salah may have known it was offside and he was just sort of striking the ball. At the same time, I also think that with some sharper play in a few moments, Nunez could have put Salah into goal scoring opportunities where he could have got a shot away. There's one where the pass is late, and I think this is the only time Salah really actually gets his ball stuck beneath his feet, and he's 1-on-1 with Ake, and Ake wins the ball, and that was on the right side of the box, as it usually is, just sort of 5 yards in. As for Trent, he didn't have a chance created, but that pass to Jota, I think, may have been marginally offside as well. I don't know if the flag went up.
Didn't he have 0 XT? Barts, Trent as well.
Hang on, just looking it up. Give me 2 seconds.
Sorry, Hamzah, just checking on that one.
That's right.
Because then that will count if it was to Jota, if it was onside.
He had 0.7 EPV, but that's sometimes higher. He had, where the hell? I can't find him now. Good radio, people. Good radio. Yeah, he had 0 XT officially on Opta. Yeah.
Yeah. So that might have been offside one then. Yeah.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit libertyshield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
So go on, sorry, Hamzah.
And at the same time as well, Salah also had 3 chances created, or 3 shot creating actions, and his dribbles, he went at 3 of 4 successful ones. Got his cross into Nunez. XA of 0.21. 0.21 XA is all right.
Yeah.
It's decent, actually.
It is. But the whole thing with Salah is his dual threat, isn't it? He's like that running back in the NFL who can catch as well as run, you know? He assists and he scores.
So insofar as playing with Nunez is concerned, I in these matches, just the way that Nunez responds to Salah just has to be better, has to be cleaner, has to be quicker. Then you can get the shots away. You think about the counterattacks that Firmino and Mane would combine with Salah on in previous matches against City over the past 5-6 years. There were fewer moments of just a little bit of stumbling, a little too late. On that side, to be honest, I thought actually Salah played really, really, really well. Even though he didn't have very much involvement, I thought he was really well. Played really well, just didn't get the opportunity to shoot that much. And I think the problem there, actually, to come back to your point about generals fighting the old war, do you remember when Rashford played against Trent for the first time and he just sort of skinned him? I remember then thinking, and then in the seasons after that there was a bit of a problem in terms of chance creation for Liverpool, in that everything came from Robertson and Trent.
Yes.
And Trent's passes to Salah were the highest value of any player in the team. So it was essentially a question of if Trent passes to Salah, Liverpool, if he gets 10 passes or more, then Liverpool tend to get a lot of chances and they tend to score.
Absolutely.
However, Liverpool are now in the situation where they have Szoboszlai, McAllister, Curtis Jones, Gravenberch, Thiago if he plays, but as in compared to when the previous midfield, when it was Henderson, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, as in there are more creative outlets across the team. You don't, even though Trent is a great creator and it's excellent to have him in midfield, you don't have to make him your primary creator.
Yes,
because there are creative outlets out elsewhere. By keeping Alexander-Arnold wide, for example, and just using him for the overlap, you still get creativity and verticality from Szoboszlai. You still get creativity and verticality from McAllister. Let's say he's playing as an 8, and Liverpool have got number 6. So I think moving Alexander-Arnold infield, it is a bit of that sort of how do we fight that previous war? And I don't think there's actually a need to, because there's creativity infield. And that's
exactly what Si said about a month ago. He said the system is trying to solve a problem that no longer exists.
Yeah.
That is fighting the last war in that way.
But then that's that you brought up about the through balls, and the only players to beat the through ball rate were
Messi and Neymar.
And who was the other player? Kevin De Bruyne
won one season. Yeah.
It's hard to reach a conclusion here. I don't think it's.
You're only allowed to say that statement for so many pods before you have to stop making conclusions. Just putting you on notice.
what I would say is because he can play both positions, as in fullback and midfield, and fullback moving into midfield.
Yeah,
I think the case should actually be a situational one, where sometimes you move Alexander-Arnold infield, and other times you let him overlap. And we did see in this match as well, he did move a bit wider later on as he tried to find a bit more space. I think that just needs to be more explicit. If I'm going to make a concluding point, then that will be it. That rather than dogmatically sticking to Alexander-Arnold moving infield at every opportunity or the first opportunity, rather that it should be a more horses for courses approach, where he has freedom to move inside, because the quality that he offers there in terms of passing range, in terms of tempo setting, playmaking, because the difference between him and other fullbacks that get lots of assists is actually that he's a playmaker. He's able to speed up the game. He's able to pick out passes rather than just having volume in terms of crosses into the box. For example, like Trippier or Reece James, what Alexander-Arnold has is the ability to speed up with the game with sharp passes and be incisive. So you want to give him that ability because playmaking is a really, really valuable skill set to have. Where the issue comes is making sure that the team is solid in rest defence and making sure that Salah's able to attack effectively. But that comes into the Nunez thing. So, yeah.
What do you think of a size point that if we repeated this process of Mo having no shots and Trent having no key passes, that the outcome would be worse over a larger sample? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but I also, like I said, Trent nearly had a key pass if Jota stays on side and he gets to it. And Salah would have had a shot if Nunez was a bit sharper.
But they were both offside.
Yeah. So it sounds to me that one of the main things you're taking away from this game is just that the general sharpness and interplay of the front three just wasn't at the top level, the top level. It wasn't Mane, Firmino, Salah, was it?
I think had Jota played as a 9 and been fully fit, I think actually Salah would have had shots. So,
and would that be Nunez off the left, or would it have been Diaz?
I don't think it matters too much. As in, it just if Jota was the 9 and he was interchanging and exchanging passes with Salah, I think Salah would have had shots. And I think he would have had more than 1, 2, just because of the way that Jota moves and understands him. And the way that he releases quickly.
Can I throw a spanner in the works here?
Go on.
There was a moment in the first half where Trent got the ball in just to the right of the centre circle, the place that he picks the ball up thousands of times, and Mo was ahead. He sprinted. He would have been in the box with a really, really simple 20-yard straight vertical pass. He'd have been in the box, one-on-one with Ake, and 2 lads in the box. What did Trent do? He tried a worldie of a cross to Darwin, who was somewhere near the far post, marked by 2 fellas, and it just got headed straight clear. Like he was under no pressure. He just went for the worldie, and he could have given Mo the shot, and he chose to not do it. And it was Trent choosing to not pass the Mo, which is just weird. I think Trent currently is playing this dual role. Is he playing both roles, or is he end up playing neither roles?
Caught between two
I think that's where we're currently stuck.
He's not the same.
He's doing either.
Yeah.
But I caught you on the hop by coming to you first with a difficult question. Have you thought about anything else you wanted to add to it?
No. I think I agree. I don't think Mo not having any shots going forward is a good idea. I just think we have changed system a little bit. But I agree with Si's point, as we've all said throughout the pod. Trent isn't playing this role as he did back end of last season. Like I think we all loved how he played the inversion end of last season, but he's not doing that at the moment. He is very much stuck in between. He's also not playing the percentages, whereas that ball that Si's just said, end of last season, he'd have played that straight to Mo. Wouldn't have been a question.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that on the pitch. And I felt Hamzah's point there about basically they haven't played enough together, so they're not in sync with each other. The front three that we had, you just knew what was going to happen because they played together, they trained together, hundreds and hundreds, done so many hours together.
The old front three, you mean? Yeah.
The old front three, pop, and there'd be a chance. We haven't got that at the moment because they just simply haven't played together enough. And
also their skill sets meshed.
Yeah, and I'm saying the skill sets are now different. We've changed the system different, but I do think there's still an element of they're just not. Darwin's decision making was slower in this game than I'd seen. I mean, Si, you commented in the chat, we was like, why is he not shooting there? Why is he trying to take the pass? There was opportunities where he could have shot, but he chose to pass, and the reverse.
He fed to Darwin 19,000 kilometres.
And that's what I was just about to say. I was saying that might also be because of the travel. So that although he's not quite up to sync, he's got a bit of the fog, if you like, around him that he's not quite up to speed with decision making. It's just one of them games. You replay this game again, and he has them 4 shots. He might score 2 of them. And he might not be offside from Mo's chance, like Hamzah said, and Mo gets a shot in. I think it's
nice.
The travel element. I do think has a massive impact on some of the performance of these players in that game.
No, that's absolutely fine.
One question I would ask was this: if you consider, let's just imagine Trent was named as a centre midfielder, was this a good centre midfielder performance from Trent?
Well,
no key passes and no XT and no XCA. I would say no.
He did score the most.
But he did score the most important goal. So poison.
Yeah,
but it was 8. I think it was 8 passes into the final third. But actually, his best work, I think, statistically, was defensive, right?
Well, everybody was talking about 7 dribble passes after the match, but 5 of them were from Doku, so I'm not sure how much that counts.
Garbage. He had 5 of 20 positive outcomes to a duel. That's not a good defensive game.
No, I don't think defensive was great. His passing accuracy was only 72% as well in this game. Again, I wouldn't say that was good enough for Liverpool midfield.
Yeah, Trent and McAllister would dribble past 13 times between them.
Yeah.
And if you look at Mark Statz's duels thing, Hamzah, I don't know if you saw it, that Trent wasn't the worst player on duels. It was Mac.
Yeah. But can we say that there is a level of, if we're going to talk of a midfielder, forget Trent, right? That I would run possession control, but let's other people, let's just talk about passing percentage, right? If you're going to give the ball away through passing, there has to be a potential expected threat, or even XG build, let's say. There has got to be a component of risk that increases your chances of scoring, so it's worth taking that risk of giving the ball away.
For sure.
And Trent isn't very high at the moment.
Yeah. So to prove that point, Si, Alvarez, same passing success as Trent, created 0.3 XT, 0.3 XO.
Yeah.
So he took the same amount of risk with his passing, but he traded a 0.3 more. So.
It's just curious that
he's got to be better than.
I don't want to be lambasting Trent because he scored the most important goal.
He's got to be better than 70% possession, 70% passing. If he's in that position, he's got to.
Yeah, he's just caught in between these two things. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely fair. I think he's caught in between it, but he's going to be better.
We can't talk about Trent's goal yet because there's 2 massive moments in the context of the match result before that happens. So the first thing is City have a corner, and I think it's swung in by Doku right underneath the crossbar, and it's disallowed. We get a VAR call. What do we think? Are we all happy with the VAR call? Did we expect that VAR call to go our way?
I don't know why it's an argument. It's a foul on the keeper.
He's got his hand on him. He's got his hand on his arm when he's reaching for the ball.
The debate of whether or not we think keepers get away with murder is a different debate, right? But haven't we all know that the guy's got his arm on Ali? That's a foul. It's just, even the referee gave it on the pitch.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they're making it a big deal. I know they probably are trying to sell clicks and the rest of it, but for me, it's just a foul on the keeper.
Yeah.
Any other game, there's not even a comment on it.
Okay.
Personally.
No, I think you summed it up pretty well there, Barts. And then the decisive moment of the match, because it's all in effectively the same phase of play. Doku cuts it back for Haaland, who has a shot from about 4 metres out. Ali gets a big save on this, Barts. Terrific block.
This is what we were chatting about how much XT, the trade-off we have. We give up more XT, but we've got Ali mopping up and saving.
Yeah.
Ali saved it. I haven't got it on in front of me. Don't know what the XG for that shot was. Must
0.46.
But there you go. So Ali saved the 0.46 chance in the death of the game. Yeah, they scored there. That's game over. He saves it. We break. We get a long ball into the area, and it switches out to Diaz. I think Diaz actually finds one of our players with a pass that isn't a cutback.
I think he's looking for Gakpo. I think he's looking for Gakpo, and it misses him, and it goes straight to Salah, doesn't it?
And Mo just pops it off, and Trent does a beautiful take with the left foot, I think it is, and then pokes it in and scores. That has been. We always talk about a typical Liverpool goal. Our ability to break from our box into theirs, I would say, is one of the hallmarks of this club side, and that was a great goal to do that at City. It was brilliant.
Safe?
Yeah, it was brilliant. It's probably a function of Trent not playing right back that he was where he was.
Yeah.
And I just want to also point out that Gakpo, apart from his possession control was great, though he didn't really have a lot of the ball, but he did retain possession really, really well. He made a really good run that was key to it. So yes. he allowed Trent the space to knock the ball into to finish, and it was.
He looked like he was going to run for the wall pass from Mo, and Silva went with him. Bernardo went with him.
Yeah, he took the defense. Yeah.
Do you know? I really feel like I'm all over Trent right now. Trent is one of my favourite players ever.
I know, and this is one reason why it's important, because people who listen to this know this to you. You've championed him.
I'm bashing him, right? I genuinely wonder. Hamzah's seen him in training. How good is he in training, Hamzah? I wonder if Trent couldn't be Gareth Bale.
But better, right?
Well, it's hard to be better than Bale. Bale's phenomenal. Bale's one of the more underrated but overrated players in history.
But honestly, Simon, we've sat on this pod, right, and said, just play him in midfield. Go and buy a right back. Just play Trent in midfield. I don't think we can be any more positive about him. It's just in this game, because he's stuck in between two stools, he weren't great defensively, but he was up against Doku.
But the fantasy, the thing that I hadn't seen in Trent, other than in training, the fantasy goal involved in that finish, people don't quite grasp it. The way he manipulated the ball to put it
in the right place,
keeper the way he did. He didn't blam it. He didn't even pass it. He just nudged it in the exact right angle to get it into the place that there was nobody to be.
Yeah, in between two players.
Extreme speed at a stretch. It was a brilliant finish. It was Robbie Fowler off the opposite foot.
Gerrard-esque?
No, Gerrard would have blammed it.
Yeah, true.
No, it's De Bruyne-esque. That was a De Bruyne goal. A De Bruyne goal at the Etihad. Absolutely prime De Bruyne goal.
Well, De Bruyne would have probably got it in off somebody's shin.
What? Wow.
Not a bad way to christen his new boots, was it?
Yeah. Hamzah, last word to you on the equaliser.
It's the touch that sets it up. So if you there's a on the replay, you actually see that he doesn't break stride. It's touch and shot all in the same motion. It is really, really, really good. So if you slow it down, you'll see. I'm just going to pull up my replay so I can describe it properly.
Flick-flack.
The first touch comes off the right foot. So the first touch is off the right foot, and it's his left foot down, and suddenly it's his right foot bang again. The speed. I think we may have spoken about this before, right? So this is about strikers specifically, but it's about finishing, I guess. The best strikers aren't actually the ones that finish above XG. I mean, a few do, like Kane, Haaland, Messi. Okay, cool. But the vast majority of really good strikers are the ones that actually just are able to get their shots off early. That's what surprises everyone. The scruffiest of finishes, just the immediate toe poke or the instinctive flick, and this here by cushioning the ball off the right foot, planting the left, and then striking with the right without another step. It's taking it so early, so quickly that no one can react. And just another word for Gravenberch as well, because it was him that he receives the ball after Alisson's save, and he squares up Rodri on the left wing and just glides past him.
He tried to take him out. He tried to drag him down, and he got past him.
Mm-hmm. It's smooth as you like, almost Van Dijk-esque, the way that he just glided past them.
Standing start, wasn't it? Standing start.
Yeah.
From a standing start, yeah.
And then
we haven't had a chance to speak to you yet about Gravenberch yet, Hamzah. So he has marvellous individual moments, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you how big a challenge do you see it being to integrate Gravenberch's individuality into the team framework? As we all know, team is king for Klopp, yeah? Because it looks like a bit of a challenge from where I'm sitting. That's all I'm going to say.
That's really interesting that you say that, because generally I think Simon might agree with me on this. Just good players integrate quite well. They just sort of come together.
Do you see him integrating with the players around him? Do you see him interacting with them? I just think all his moments are individual. Almost like he's playing his own game amongst the 21 other players.
That's I don't have an answer to that at the moment, actually. I'll actually need to go away and think about that, and I'll come back to you on the next pod after I watch.
Next time we have a Gravenberch start, maybe.
I will, yeah.
I would say it's the opposite of Diaz, who has what you would write down as individual skills. That Diaz is a street baller that does his individual skills on his own and plays in a team sport. And Gravenberch does individual skills within the structure of the team. So his carrying is deliberate in a deliberate direction that causes the most stress to the opposition's formation. So it will be a thought out, this is the angle I need to take for this thing to occur. And Diaz plays with his hair on fire. I'm going for goal, mate. Yeah. So they are similar skill sets played in a very different way. One is team first or team centric. I think team first is a big fat lie. I think one is more team centric. One is more individualist. But I get what you're saying now, Darth.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Darth. But I'm interested to see what Hamzah comes back with.
Well, especially on pressing for Grav. But yeah, that's a different story.
But I do think Diaz is a question for another day because this is performance. Which
final words. We haven't discussed Jota other than his non-involvement in this match. 12 touches. Do we know anything about Jota's injury? I'm guessing the question is also no.
I haven't heard. Don't know Si has.
Hamstring. Did it look worse than Ali's hamstring?
I didn't even see it. I just saw him go off.
He was walking normally with the boys back to the bus, but I mean that could be anything. He could have had ice pack and a whole lot, but Ali was, you don't know anything until it's a scan was today, apparently.
You grade 2 tears, you're not limping.
Yeah, so could be anything.
Give us your headline prediction. 4 weeks.
I didn't see the mechanism for Jota generally because the ball got cleared. So if Jota misses something, the ball gets pinged down the other end, and the actions at their ends are. Unless you're in the ground, you wouldn't have seen it. Or
I thought he got it while he was running. I thought he got it while he was running. Not like a full sprint or anything, but
I don't know. Anyway. I genuinely haven't seen it. It was Ali. I was like, no, I know what that is, but Jota, I haven't got a clue. He didn't look as bad as Ali, but then Ali was clutching the back of his leg, so I don't know. But hey,
anyway,
we'll wait and see.
Anyway, anything else that any of you wanted to raise that you didn't get off your chest?
We ended the 24 game.
Yes.
Great team in history. Fuck you, Man City.
Do you want to guess which player played the most passes to Salah?
Nunes.
No.
I might have that.
Matip.
No.
The most passes to
Ali.
No.
Trent.
Funny this.
Trent 6. Yeah. 7 passes.
Yeah.
There you go. Matip's second was 6.
But 3 of them were throw-ins.
Right, we will be back next Tuesday for the Lask game and the Fulham game. Until then, up the fucking Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.